Welcome back to another gear review, and today we're going to be doing a review on the new Shimano Bantam A, the 2022 model. I know I'm a little bit late to it as it's been out for a few months now and there's already been a bunch of people that have done reviews on it, but I just got one in from American Legacy Fishing and figured it's a good time to go ahead and be doing an unboxing and an initial impressions and kind of go over some stuff about this reel for you guys. So first off, I want to say, if you guys are looking for this reel or any reel like it, head over to AmericanLegacyFishing.com and go pick up any of your fishing or outdoors needs on the website. They're great company, great people there, and it's super fast shipping. So I highly recommend checking them out if you're into it. But anyways, let's hop into this. So first off, I'm not going to go through absolutely all the information like what a lot of people do and what I've done in the past. In the past, I've went through all the different specs that Shimano gives on this reel and just went through and explained every single one. For this reel, I don't think it's necessarily important. A lot of the times I do reviews anyways on spinning reels, not casting reels, and something like this, there are really three main features that need to be talked about with the reel, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. But first, one thing I do want to mention about the typical information about reels like this is the weight, and that's that these reels range anywhere from 7.6 to 7.9 ounces depending on the model. This one is a 150 HG and it's 7.8 ounces, so near the middle of that range. So it is a heavier reel. If you're looking at other reels, like I use Shimano Titaniums, it's like high 5-ounce range that they're in. Some SLXs, Corrado, stuff like that are in the high 6s, low 7s, somewhere around there. So it is a little bit heavier reel, but it is justified. So with that being said, let's go into the three components that I think are the best components to talk about for this reel. So before we go through and talk about these three best components in this reel, let's go ahead and unbox this sucker, get it out, and get a good look at it. So right here is the new Shimano Bantam A. This Bantam A came through to replace the Bantam MGL, which has been out, I think, for like 5 or 6 years now. So it was due for a new one, as everybody that I knew that had a Bantam A absolutely loved it. Now, everything I've heard about this reel is that it's an absolute workhorse, and that's also why it is that heavier weight, because number one on the list of important things to talk about this reel is the new core solid body. This is a one-piece aluminum frame construction. It's got the B side plate. It's got level wind guard, which helps with the rigidity and sensitivity of this reel. So you'll be able to feel everything through the rod and down into the reel and into this body. Now, when I say that is a full one-piece construction, that is everything around this reel. You can see they just put some fixtures on it, but for the most part, everything about this reel is just one single piece of aluminum. The next thing about this reel that is important to talk about is the infinity drive that they put in it. This is a new main shaft support structure which helps improve the winding torque and increase smoothness and light rotations. So what that really is good for is in that workhorse nature of this reel. It makes it really good for throwing any of those baits that pull really hard or have a bunch of torque that you need for the reel, because it makes it just feel a little bit more smooth than others and a little bit easier to reel than others in the same type of format. So if you're going to be using this reel, I'm going to be using this specifically probably for like chatterbaits, just because it's a heavier bait. There's more pressure on it when you're reeling it in. You need more torque to be able to reel it in. So I think this reel is going to pair up perfectly with my Dobbins rod to throw chatterbaits on. But anything from chatterbaits to your crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, all different types of crankbaits, really, chatterbaits, anything like that. You could even throw this for topwater. It would be really good. Now, other people may say, yeah, it's a really good Texas rig rod, jig rod, stuff like that. And yeah, to me, any reel can be used for anything that you want as long as it's in the best gear ratio. There are that few reels in the spectrum that really are more of bait specific to me, such as like the Shimano Aldebaran. It's a very, very lightweight reel, more of a finesse reel. So if you're going to be throwing Texas rigs and stuff like that, jigs, you're going to be wanting to go with finesse Texas rigs and jigs with that reel. It's not something like this that is a heavy duty reel that can throw pretty much about everything for or with. So yeah, that's number 2 on the list for important things to talk about this reel. So the last of the important things to mention about this reel is the new MGL Spool 3 that they put in it. This helps reduce the inertia with a more narrow spool inside of it. It's actually 19 millimeters to where the second gen was the 22 millimeter wide spool. And at first when I saw that, I'm thinking, man, that means I'm not going to get as much line capacity on this reel. But do not worry. With doing that, they left an outer diameter of 34 millimeters to help compensate for that line capacity and also increase the casting performance. So it is something really good that they put in this. As you can see probably on here, I'll try to get a second shot, a B-roll shot of the actual spool to show you. You can see that it's a very, very deep spool for as skinny as it is. And that is the thing that I really do notice, is how skinny this is. So until I started looking into it, I didn't think as much about it, but now, something compared to like my Shimano Bantam I use, this thing feels really skinny in this actual spool. So now that we got the top 3 out of the way, of course this reel has a bunch of stuff like the micro module gearings, it's got the S3D spool, it's got the SVS Infinity brake system in it, it's got the S ARB bearing, it's got silent drive, super free spool, cross carbon drag, and of course a Hagani body, which is that full aluminum structure. Shimano just likes to call it Hagani. That's what they call the material. So of course it's got all those other things in it, but those 3 that I mentioned I think are just the 3 most important that need to be stated about this actual reel, and I didn't feel like going over absolutely everything and boring people to death about everything else. So like I said, I went over the 3 most important things about this reel, and now let's just talk about my initial impressions on it. So just playing with this reel while I was going over all those 3 specs for you guys, it is a heavier reel. I know I've stated that multiple times, but because of having that full one solid piece frame construction, it's not that big of a deal for me. Only time I really worry about really light reels is with my spinning rods. For something like this, the rod I'm going to put it on, which is actually a Dobyns Champion Extreme, or Champion XP, sorry, 736 CB glass. It's a heavier rod, has a little bit of a heavier tip, so a heavier reel like this is going to help balance that rod very nicely. Another thing I'm seeing just with playing with this is how smooth the reel actually feels, and how the spool and everything feels. It just feels amazing. Even out of my Metaniums that I have, it feels really good. My Metaniums do, but the spool doesn't feel quite as tight with all the tolerances as what this reel feels. This one feels a little bit smoother than my Metanium does, a little bit smoother than my Chronarch does, and stuff like that. So it feels very smooth. It feels very, very, very well built. It's a very good looking reel. Like always, it's Shimano, and it is a mid to higher end reel, coming in at, I believe it's $349.99. So with it being that mid to higher end reel, it's really hard to go wrong on any reel in the market when you're starting to get into that price point. You can look at comparables, but to me, I've always been a Shimano fan. Everything they build, for the most part, is very well built. Have never really had too many issues with them, knock on wood. Don't want this to be my first issue that I've ever had with them, maybe. But so far, I think it feels amazing. Great feeling and looking reel. But like I mentioned already, if you guys would like to pick up this reel or any other reel that you may be interested in, head over to AmericanLegacyFishing.com. There's a link down in the description below, and head over there and look to see what all they got. And great company to deal with, great people over there. They will get you hooked up. if you guys would like any other information on this reel, or if you guys would like me to do a review on any other reel out on the market, drop it down in the comments below and I'll be happy to start looking at it and get into doing some reviews for you guys. As it's getting colder out, today it's a little bit warmer, but a lot of days from now on are going to be pretty cold. I'm going to be doing a lot less fishing, a little bit more hunting, and also a lot more gear reviews. So I've got some things already in the plans for different reviews I'd like to put out for you guys, but I will always look into different options that you guys put out. So make sure to put them in the comments below and I will check those out. Thank you for watching. Head over to American Legacy if you are interested in this reel or any others, and we'll see you in the next review.